The path is your own journey.
Right.
The initiate has to go on its own journey. And you can't take nothing with you. And you at the goddamn crossroads. And the crossroads is, are you ready to go to the next level?
Yeah.
Because guess what? I can't take you to the next level. Right? You got to make that decision.
All right, so I just want to make sure that we got things clear on the fact that you are not the thought. We are not the thought. We are the observer of our thoughts. I always say this. We are the observers of our feelings. We experiencing them. So I always talk about being in the observer space. That's where you want to be throughout your experience. But a lot of times throughout the day, throughout the night, throughout the things that we deal with, and just our mundane life, it drags us in a lot of times, and we start to believe we are the thought. We start to believe that we are the feeling, we are the emotion, we are the situation, the circumstance. And that's not true, because we always got the option to change. We always got the opportunity to change. We always got the opportunity to change our own minds. And about face and do a 180 degree and say, nah, I'm gonna leave this alone and I'm gonna head this way. I'm gonna be more intentional. So I'm starting to understand that a lot of people is getting intellect and big words and things like that misconstrued with real life. A lot of people getting concepts mixed up with just real life shit. Because it ain't about what you know, it's about how you apply that shit. It's about how you apply it. It's like people that study karate their whole life. Sometimes they get punched in the face outside in the alleyway or something and forget every karate move they ever learned. Because they haven't applied it in the field. They haven't applied it in a real situation. They haven't had to improvise and just roll with the punches. And on a soul level, on a spirit level, that's what your spirit want. That's what your soul want. That's what your heart really want. They want to be free. Free to explore and not so locked down. So we can't get caught up in intellectualizing shit. Thinking that the more I know, the more I can memorize, the more I can regurgitate, the more I could repeat history and just keep, you know what I'm saying? Give you fact after fact after fact. The more information I hoard and gather, the more I am. And that's not true. The more you let all of that shit go and learn how to utilize it as a tool and know when to put it down and pick it up, and that's where the wisdom come in at. Because wisdom is knowledge applied. So when that start kicking in, then you start being able to shape your life, your inner world, and your external world in a way that is beneficial to you and everything you're a part of and everything you do, and in that coming from a real place, even in the downfalls of life and in the shit that we go through, the stresses of life and shit, you know what I mean? Even with that, you awaken to a point where you understand that it's a lesson in everything, and it's your responsibility to be at attendance in the class of life, in the school of life, so you could learn that lesson and you don't just be a person out here going through a whole bunch of shit but not reaping no benefit as far as the knowledge. You feel me? And then hopefully that person growing and not getting stuck in the knowledge and not getting stuck in the definitions and the reference points from what versus what they actually having to face in real life. A lot of people obtain information. We live in an information age. Nobody even argue about basketball or sports no more for real. They just argue politics now because you can't argue stats or nothing because people just go right to Google and just look it up. When I see a word that I've never seen or can't pronounce, or don't know the definition to, I go straight to Google. It's convenient. But we can't put things like information above, let that override our intuition. And when we believe we are the thought, and I'm just talking about thought right now, I'm not even getting into really too much of feelings and emotion because that go deep too. But this world want to have you think just being smart, having an education, just worshiping the thought, just worshiping the idea. To the point people chase the idea of things and never actually live out the reality of it, get the joy out of it, get the fruit out of life. Like I said, even in the down times though, if you're starting to become wise, you'll see that those times is the best times. And if you awake to that shit, you only got to experience it once. You only got to experience the lesson once. And when you get to a certain level of being an observer, you could refrain from doing a lot of the things that got you into a lot of the hardships of your life. You know what I mean? And that's a responsibility that we have to take from the observer point of view. And that take work. You could call it meditation. You could call it stillness or whatever the case may be. But when you're in that space, that's when you feel good. Maybe when you're listening to your favorite song, you're not really in your head. You're not worshiping the thought. You're just vibing. You're feeling good. You watching your favorite show, you around your favorite people that you don't have to have your guard up around and shit like that. You don't worship the thought a lot. You realize that it's more parts to life than just thought. It's more parts to life than just knowing shit and information and education and society and how other people think. That's another thing. People worship the thought so much they care about what other people think more than how they feel about themselves. That's how much thought has reigned in this generation. I don't even know, generation or fucking, I don't know what to call us. Some of the stuff that's happening in the world right now, but I know one thing. Thought and thinking got everybody's attention. And ain't nobody really feeling no more. And you know, we all go there too sometimes. Sometimes you just don't want to feel your emotions and shit like that. And we get stuck in our head and want to try to think. We try to think and control life, and you can't do that. You can't do that. You had to relax into yourself at some point, or you're just gonna be neurotic. And what I'm learning is too, the breath is everything. I'm gonna leave y'all with that. The breath is everything. So no matter what you're going through, no matter whether it's anxiety or depression, if you follow the breath, it'll bring you back to the observer seat. It'll bring you back to your center. follow the breath. That's the message. Follow the breath.